Hello world. Today we are interviewing Young Hump of Digital Underground. He is an MC and seasoned performer from LA, and we are really excited to have him here today. We are approaching our season finale with a special 2-part episode. This conversation went on longer than expected, but it was so worth it. Starting this episode off with a favorite, All For You by Mike Dimes. All right, let's get into part 1 of our season finale. My name is Time Journey, and this is the House of Legacy. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the House of Legacy podcast. Today, we have another special legacy holder in the building. Please introduce yourself and your legacy.
Yo. What's happening, y'all? Party people. It's your brother, Young Hump from Digital Underground, and I'm here in the place.
So tell us how you became Young Hump, got into the Digital Underground family.
All right, well, in the immortal words of Phife Dawg, rest in peace, I've been hip-hopping since I was knee-high to a duck. Hip-hop scholar since being knee-high to a duck. And, I've always been on my thing. And basically, so I was, just moving and grooving. And then, a couple times over my life, a few people told me I reminded them in some shape or form or fashion of the big bruh Shock G, rest in peace. But it wasn't something I hear all the time, because you wouldn't look at my face and just be like, you look just like Shock. But it's more of like an energy thing, but also, being light skinned and skinny and whatnot. Even though I grew up, I was a chubby boy, but when I got older, I got real skinny. So people a couple times would say, I might hear it every 4 or 5 years. But so basically, then later when the Biggie Smalls movie came out, I saw the movie and I remember walking out of the theater and just thinking, I'm like, man, I know if they're finna make a Tupac movie. And then I just thought to myself, like, people say I sound like, or remind them of Shock G. Imagine if I played Shock G in the movie. What a thought. And then fast forward to, maybe, I don't know, a year or something later, I'm driving one day and the Humpty Dance comes on. And I had never really attempted to do the voice because quiet as kept, I don't always sound like this. And so basically I kind of like rapped along with the song. All right, stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin. And I said, wait a minute, I sound just like this dude. And I didn't realize I could do the voice. And I always tell people, I learned at that moment that everybody's voice is an instrument. You never know what your voice could do if you try different voices. Like whose voice that you could impersonate, because naturally you have that similar texture in your voice, things like that, what sound effects you can make. So anyways, once I realized I could do the voice perfectly, I'm like, wow. So then basically to speed it up, I one day just feeling it, I called my stepbrother and was like, yo, you got your camera? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I want to film something. He's like, all right. I went over his crib and just filmed myself being Humpty and Shock G on camera. And then, like I said, because they're going to make a Tupac movie. So now I have footage of me dressed up with the hump shit on and going in. And then I'm running around just hoping to hear something about the eventually to be made. This is 2012. They didn't start production until 2016. But long story short, just to wrap it up, what it was I finally catch up with Shock G and I show it to him and he's like, yo, you got it. So then maybe 6 months later, 3 months later, he hits me and we had exchanged numbers and he was like, yo, I need you to perform, because he was taking a break from performing and he wanted to perform with Money B as Humpty Hump at first. So I started. So then I don't meet Money B for a year. Finally meet Money B. We decide to rock. We do a couple shows. Then a little bit after that, there was an issue where contractually, Shock was going to do a show somewhere and I was going to do somewhere. So it became me and Money B were going to do a show somewhere. It became an issue. So he said, look, you got to change your name. You're not going to be Humpty Hump because I'm going to be Humpty Hump over here. So you come with a new hump. So then I became Young Hump. So I always tell everybody Humpty Hump is the OG and he went back to the mothership. But I'm here still on this planet we know as Earth. and as Young Hump from the Hump family. So that's what it is.
Wow. Was there any gems or lessons that Shakji instilled in you in the journey in this industry and stuff?
Oh, plenty. And one of the ones that I like to share with people because it really helped me as an artist is he said to me once, he said, you probably have a lot of ideas and unfinished songs and things, right? And I was like, man, bruh, tell me about it. He's like, you probably like, sometimes it's overwhelming and you know, you might feel a little bit guilty that you ain't finished a whole bunch of songs and things, right? I'm like, bruh, that shit bothers me all the time. He's like, listen, don't feel guilty. The thing about it is unfinished ideas are a blessing because he's like, once you get real successful and real busy, you don't have as much time to sit around and brainstorm and come with ideas. He's like, when you're struggling and you got a lot of time to yourself and things ain't cracking and you ain't traveling as much, you might not be traveling at all. You just, living, you have all this time to sit and think. That's why they always say people's first album is their best album because it's their whole life and they have all this time to think about things. But then once the first album hits, then the second album, they busy and they running around and now they have to create an album in the midst of a hectic schedule and a lot going on and a lot of distractions. So he said, all your ideas that aren't finished, they're stashed ideas that you think are dope, that you can develop and finish. So the blessing of having unfinished ideas is like having secret weapons on the side. I was like, wow. And that really changed. It freed me of the burden of the guilt of feeling like I haven't finished so many ideas. And that's a big one. Yeah.
That's huge. That must have been dope to get that knowledge too. Like, and then to like be in the hip hop industry with that. That's really dope.
Yeah, and also like in my other endeavors, I'm a writer. I write things and sometimes I'll start something, write 2-3 paragraphs or something that in my mind seems like it could be, a 20-page thing or a 120-page thing or a fucking 400-page, whatever, just
wow, yeah.
But it's like I gotta sit down and really devote, and I'm a Virgo like Shock G, so I'm very like particular. So certain things I go into, I know I gotta like really devote that real care and time, and then you got all these other things, and then you got people, like shit. So
right.
Like that. So it's time management is a big deal. But Shock helped me with that one. That was a big one.
That's dope. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like your first performance, Young Hump, with the Digital Underground family?
Absolutely. Man, it was like I remember it was actually at the Whiskey A Go Go. There's a photo of it on my IG page, I believe, and I think it's still there. And I was gonna say, but I remember my fit. I had this weird hat, and the nose I had wasn't as high tech as the noses I have now. Back then, I had one nose. Now I have 17 with me currently. I have one on hold for a museum. I have another one that I gave to somebody for a pop-up that they're holding. And then I have another one stashed at a studio that I used to frequent regularly. But I was going to say, and then I gave another nose to somebody, whatever. Anyways, so I remember like this nose I had was lightweight, kind of janky, but I liked my fit. And I just remember being in like the like at the Whiskey on the top where you walk down to the stage. I just remember being like it was dark and I'm in the cut because I didn't walk in with the nose that I had on. So I walked in looking real weird because my fit was super exaggerated, but I didn't have the hat and nose, so it didn't make sense. And I remember somebody looking at me like, what is this nigga wearing? And so I'm in the cut in the shadows, and then I'm like, all right, I put the hat and the nose on and I slide down the steps, and it was a little bit, are they gonna accept it? Are they, and I wouldn't go as far to say I was hella nervous, but I was just a little bit like, I mean, I know I get busy, so that's always, the underlying force behind what I do. But it was more like, how is this gonna go over with the crowd type shit? And so came down there and we did what it do, and it was fun. And then I remember in the middle of same song, I remember I hit this dance step. And that was when I knew, because the beautiful thing about, I've always been a motherfucker, I like to dance. So like when, the digital underground music is so dance friendly, it's such danceable music that it immediately loosens me up because the shit is groovy. So, so it was fun. And, that was the first show. Yep.
That is amazing. For those who don't know, can you tell us who is in the Digital Underground family exactly?
Well, the Digital Underground family, kind of like, you could compare it to like the Wu-Tang family, where you have, is more than just the 9 MCs and Capadonna and DJ Mathematics and Divine and Mook and all these other people, and Street Life and Redman and then Kill Me and Sons of Man. It's like digital is really deep like that. So there's that version of the answer, which is a whole bunch of names, but the core Digital Underground family is Shock G, Money B, DJ Fuse, Tupac Shakur, Chop Master J, Cletus Mac, Saphir, DJ Jay-Z, and Essential and Mystic, and but currently, but that's like, well, even when I say the core, half of those names came later, like much later, like late 90s, type stuff, but still, also, the Loonies, Razzcast, people like that are part of the family.
Oh shit!
So, yeah, but it's deep like that. But basically, right now, it's Money B, myself, DJ Fuse, of course, but he doesn't tour with us currently. He does whenever we do shows in Oakland. When he's free, he comes and DJs for those. Like when we do the Shock G tributes, he's gonna be on the decks. But we have our DJ Always, and we also have another DJ New Styles, who's based in not Memphis, but I forget what city he's in right now. But basically running around right now, getting it popping is. And I also forgot to say 4 Racks and the Mechanics, who's right there in that core. He was, but basically it's me and Money B and DJ Always, or better yet, I should say it's Money B and me. And then we have DJ Always. And then on occasion, also I forgot Pee Wee. That's what I'm saying. It's Pee Wee.
It's a family. Yeah, it's a huge. That's great. Wow.
And Pee Wee, I gotta say, Pee Wee is in that original tier of early '90s cats. So Pee Wee was the guy. You might see footage of Shock G performing with the talk, on keys, and there's somebody playing guitar with the talk box. That's Pee Wee. So he did a lot of shit. When Shock G was doing his solo stuff, he had a trio: Shock G, DJ Fuse, and Pee Wee. So Pee Wee is essential individual. But yeah, basically it's me and Money B running around with our DJ all. I'll tell you a funny story real quick.
Yeah.
We did a show in Sacramento. Shout out to Kevin Johnson. And we doing a show. This is about a year ago, and the sound goes out. Because it was like we were kind of like in like the back of like a little area where it wasn't a parking lot, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, just to visualize, imagine doing a show in like the back of like a big open parking lot. So they had like a little stage set up in the middle. So this isn't in a building. So however they were using, whatever they were using for power, the shit went out for about a minute. So mics is out. We sitting there, the crowd standing right there. It was a small crowd because it was an outdoors little private event. It's probably maybe, I don't know, 200 people or some shit. but we rocking. And so as soon as the mics go out, the first thing I think about is the Blastmaster KRS-One. And I think of like the stories I heard of him rocking with no mic. I never was there, but I've heard of those. So immediately I go into this like, yo, this is it. I'm about to let it be known. So no mic. I lay the mic down. I say, yo, so y'all ready? We going to the Bronx or what? I don't need no mic. Y'all ready? We going to the Bronx? Are y'all ready? Like I start turning all the way up and I'm getting ready to bust. This is right before we do the Humpty dance. So I'm like, yo, we're gonna do it. Like, I'm literally right about to start the first bar and the power turns back on. I'm gonna show these motherfuckers projection. Yeah. So anyway, so I look at shit like that. Like every time I get on the stage, it's an opportunity to baffle the minds of all showgoers, to clobber competition, all of that type of shit. I love it. And it's fun. And I do all the things I have things that I do that I've never seen anybody do on stage because I think I got to make sure. So that's the key part, of course. Then another part of it is I'm not playing on that mic. I already have one Young Hump album. I got a mixtape that's getting ready to come out this year. I technically released it, well, when the pandemic was cracking, I threw it together and I was selling it to people like virtually, shoot me $20 and I'll send them a zip or whatever. But I never uploaded it to the DSPs. So what I did is I've added I took about 3 or 4 of the songs off and I've added 8 joints and I'm going to rearrange it. So it's really going to be a new thing. So that's coming and hopefully I can get an album out by the end of the year, but it's probably going to be closer to the top of next year the way it's looking. So on the mic, I really take that shit seriously. And the thing with me is I kind of because this is legacy. I understand that my position as Young Hump is I'm like the illest bridge because I'm brought in to personify, electrify, and maintain, the nose. I keep the nose shiny. The nose stays polished in my hands, right? So, but when I say the nose, that's the symbolic, verbiage that we use because it's so much fun to say it like that. But really, it's like the character, the Hump. I bring it, and he's a fun-loving, zany, classic energy, hip-hop, enthusiastic motherfucker. A lot of rap
right.
isn't enthusiastic. It's niggas trying to compete with who gives a fuck less. Right? So me, I'm the dude that gives a mad fuck. I'm like, no, we here, baby. We going in. So I bring that energy, but also sonically, I'm tuned into the old school frequencies and the funky shit. Now I do songs on trap beats with other people and mob shit, that Oakland shit and all of that. But on my projects, my beats that I choose for my projects are more the classic essence shit that we fuck with. So so it's cool because I might be on this person's album rapping on some heavy 808 shit. Right. Yeah, but then I'm over here rapping on some classic shit, some breakbeats. So I keep that I stay mindful of that because a big part of it is, there's only so many people that know how to, produce music that has an energy that feels different than what's going on at the moment currently. Most people are so caught up with trying to be in competition with what's hot right now. It's just the nature of artists in general across all mediums. But for me, I'm more trying to give you that feeling that Biz Markie gave you in 1988. I'm trying to give you the feeling that Pete Rock and CL Smooth gave you in 1991. I'm thinking more along energetically, more fun, and the Hump character is all of that. So part of my legacy is for people that love that, and they typically are forced to just listen to the older records. I'm trying to enter some new catalog into the universe that when you hear it, it feels just as fun, just as playful, just as bouncy and funky and zany and nutty and unorthodox and devoid of the trappings of conventional song structure. We're very intelligent with what we're talking about.
Yes.
So I like to give motherfuckers some shit that feels free because hip hop was more free in those days than it is now. Everybody's worried about templates and shit. My shit is raw and like I'm going crazy with it. So that's one of the things that I'm really thoughtful of, and keeping my pen sharp. I'm not a game on the mic, you know what I mean, at all.